What's up, guys? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah Styles here. Thank you so much for joining today. I am doing my weekly call with Chris from A Daily Refinement. He should be joining shortly. I think he was having a couple audio issues. So as we wait for him, if you're new to my channel, I am a reseller, which means that I purchase items and sell them for profit on Poshmark and on eBay. I also have a degree in mathematics, so I dedicate this channel and my Instagram to helping you look at your numbers, figure out what data. Can you guys hear me? Drop a note in the chat. I feel like my headphones not working right. So drop a note if you can't hear me, and I'll do it all over again. But if you can hear me, I also have a degree in mathematics, so I am my YouTube and Instagram are dedicated to helping you look at your numbers and look at your data and the data on a large level to figure out how and what is working for you. If you like content like that, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button on your way out. So, okay, thanks, Allison. It's so hard to know when you're like sitting here talking to yourself, if everything is all well. As we wait for Chris to pop in, how was everyone's week today? Duncan says that he is going to have to join. My husband is here. What's up, Allison? Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll let a couple people filter in. My week has been really good. How is everybody's May going? Let me check in with Chris. How was everyone's May? I released my video today on how my May was, so make sure to head on over there and see what strategies that I was using that worked and what strategies that I used that did not work. So head on over there after this video for sure. Let me know what's up with your guys' May, how your sales have been as we wait for Chris. Hold on. This is the joy of live. Trying to get all of the technology to work. Allison, oh, what's up, the Grumpy Thrifters? Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm excited for today's to kind of talk about getting close to the sale that we're going on of the Grumpy Thrifters. My best sales ever. I was in the same boat, Grumpy Thrifters. So I'm wondering what kind of things do you sell? I know on a different chat you had mentioned that you sell maybe it was non-clothing items. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Non-clothing items. I like clothes. Oh, there he is. I like clothes, so don't really want to have to switch over. What's up, Chris?
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. I didn't think I could hear you, and then we would have to figure that out. We are good. That's what happens when you do live sometimes. No worries. Thanks for joining. How was your week? Did the stores open, right? In California, stores opened?
Didn't
Oh,
open.
no?
They extended most things. Gyms. There's some things that they extended till September.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it's interesting. So, but not everything is open, but a few things are open. Some restaurants are open for seating if they have outdoor. But it's definitely not open. Retail is still closed.
So thrifting is not a no-go for you guys.
Nope.
Oh,
And it's already June 3rd, and there's also no update. So
that's rough. Yeah, that's rough. We are mostly open, which is nice, but our sourcing is not great because they're doing much more precautions. Well, let's get into it. We have a full content today. I want to talk to you about my May numbers. We'll look at my dashboard really quick just so you can get an idea of where I landed. For those of you who are new to watching, I am trying to get to $1,000 net. Oh, hold on. I can't talk and do this together. Can you guys see that? Are we good? I can't see the chat though, Chris. So if there's some, can you help me keep an eye on that?
Definitely.
Okay, so these are my main numbers. We are trying to get me to $1,000 net in 20 hours or less in reselling. So you look here, this is 28-day comparison. So we're a couple days into June, but this gives you a good idea of how I'm progressing. Everything is up and up by a lot. From items sold, up 113, up $2,000 gross revenue. However, my average sale price is down $12. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. I just want to look at my May numbers as well. So this is where I ended in May. These are gross numbers, 75% to the goal. So I did up my goal to $6,000 instead of the $5,800, just to give me a little bit of leeway in inventory because cost of goods has been going up for me just because I'm not able to kind of source how I was, I'm having to pay up a little bit more because I can't go thrifting as often and buy online and stuff. So I did up that a little bit. But 75% there, I mean, that's good, right? I don't know if there's anything here that's catching your eyes. I want to talk. I'll show you one more chart about the average sale price. But if there's anything here that's catching your eyes to note on.
No, it looks good. You're at maybe 5 to 6, or let's see, between 5 and 6 sales a day,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to be in like the 15 range. So and then trying to maintain the average sale price if we can, keeping it at 30 plus.
Yeah, and that's kind of where, and that's what I want to talk about is average sale price. I'll have to do more sales if it continues to decrease, less sales if it's higher. I was between like $34 and $37, so it's definitely gone down. A couple reasons it's gone down. I've intentionally been adding lower average sale price items into my closet because I have noticed that's what people are buying right now with the economy, and so some of that's intentional. The thing though is eBay is definitely driving that lower average sale price. It's $7 less on eBay than it is on Poshmark. Um, I've done all of the strategies, sales, best offers, accepting everything, just to get momentum. And so that's definitely, I was at like 14 sales in April, and then I did 70 sales in May. So it's definitely increasing the momentum, but I wanted to talk to you today about how to get this back up to, closer to my Posh number. Because if I can get it to $30 an average sale price, I'll get to that a bit quicker. And I have inventory that's selling for $30, right? It's just the strategies I'm using on eBay.
You might not.
Right.
It might just take some time. I think eBay doesn't necessarily give you traffic right away. Like as an example, on Poshmark, it is somewhat democratic in the sense that you could be brand new and get
Mm-hmm.
share and go all the way to the top of the feed, and someone who's been poshing for 7 years doesn't have an advantage. But on eBay, they definitely give you some points for being on the platform for a while. They try to favor people who have been there longer. So um, that
And
makes
that's,
sense to me. I don't think it's not too far off. It's also less fees than Poshmark a little bit.
well, so here's the thing. And
It
that's
could
kind
it
of
could
where,
be. It could be.
yes,
Yeah.
that's where I'm going with. I was looking at my fees on eBay. And once you consider, because I count shipping, they're not technically fees, but they're coming out of my profit, right?
Right.
And because I'm offering free shipping and I do promoted listings, I'm at 40%.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
just turned my promoted listings off. I because
completely.
completely because it's okay. Like because a lot of my items on eBay are not replenishable. I'm even considering not cross listing. So it actually just depends on how fast you want your money. I tried for 1 month your strategy of 7%. Or I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I think, did you do trending?
I do trending. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did trending. I think my bill was $800 higher than normal, right?
Hmm.
And my sales were like $7,000 higher. So I paid $800 for $7,000 more in sales. Um, and I decided that I'm good with just waiting because I'm not in a hurry for my stuff to sell. And it was selling so fast it wasn't getting a chance to sell on Poshmark or Mercari, and I'm paying the fee to cross list to Poshmark and Mercari. So it's almost like, do I want to just pay the promoted listings fee and not cross list, or
Mm,
cross list and just wait for my money? It depends on. See, now I'm looking at this as in like, where could you put your money,
yes, right.
right?
And
So
I think,
yeah,
yeah, when I was starting last month, I was putting like I was willing to take all of the money out and hardly make anything on eBay just to get the momentum going.
mhm.
And I think I still have to, like, I haven't been on there for years, like other people. So I still have to do that to a little bit. But yeah, I'm with you on trying to figure out where is the best place to put the money and what things I should kind of back up on. Um, and I was
But
leaning
I mean,
towards,
even in a sense of, I consider promoted listings a place where you put your money.
yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was, so I mean, and this is what I wanted to chat with you a little bit about on what to back off on. Um, Free shipping, I loathe having to pay free shipping coming from Poshmark. But I think to your point, eBay, you have all the filters on the left, and the more that you can get people to check those, your stuff comes up, the better exposure. So I can see keeping that on, but maybe lowering the promoted listing and keeping, because that's something too that I can keep an eye on and lower it and see what my impressions do, right? And see if I'm getting. And the other thing, I looked at this right before we got on, when we talked a month ago, it was like what, 85% of my items were coming from sales were coming from promoted listings. And I looked at it now and I'm down to 34% are coming from promoted listings. So I feel like it's a decent time to kind of back off on that. Would you?
It depends on your goals. Like, do you want, I mean, you have to look at like you're not allowed to make any assumptions. Your sample size is way too small. Like, okay,
You sound like my math teacher. Assumptions make an ass out of you and me.
what is the, okay, let me ask you a sort of a separate question.
Yeah,
Um, would you consider yourself in the top 20% of Poshmark sellers?
probably not. Well,
When you
no.
meet other
20?
I assume you know a lot of Poshmark sellers.
Yeah, 20% probably. Yeah.
I think that is.
Oh, wait, you cut out.
What do you think that is? That's my question. What do you think a top 20% Poshmark does?
What do I think of top 20%? I mean, I think over 2000 probably is the top 20% a month.
1,000 in sales or profit?
Sales.
I would agree with you. If you're in the top, and then what about on eBay?
Oh, I think it's much higher than that. I don't know eBay well enough, but I would venture to say it's much higher on
What is
eBay.
your breakdown on your sales last month? What dollar wise on each platform?
Yeah, it was about, I'd have to look at the chart on the breakdown. And I don't have that one up, but I think Poshmark was still slightly higher.
Hmm.
I can pull it up, but it was closer to like 60-40 between Poshmark and eBay. So I think Poshmark, I mean, my total was like 4,500. So I think Poshmark was like a little over 2 grand and eBay was a little under, if that
Okay.
guesstimate. Does that make sense?
How do you feel about your knowledge and how you think Poshmark works? You think you know kind of how it works?
Yeah.
Have you maxed out your Poshmark
Mhm.
sell through, you think?
Yes. I
What
can't, I mean, I've been on there for the past year. No matter what I do, I can't really get much higher than
where
the
are
10.
you at with Poshmark? Like how much do you have listed and versus how much sales do you have on Poshmark? I want to just kind of get an idea of how comfortable you are with the platform and it's because it sounds like I want to get you to where you feel like your eBay store is running the way it's supposed to be. So
Yes, right.
before we get there, I want to know if you think that your Poshmark store is running the way it's supposed to be, since you have more experience with it.
Yeah. Well, so I had like a little over 600 items on Poshmark, and I think I made like 80 or 90 sales on Poshmark.
Hmm. Does that sound right to you?
Right by what? Compared to my history, right? Compared to, I mean, I'd love more.
That's a 15% sell through. Is that good for Poshmark? Or because the point is, I might actually advise you to make sure your Poshmark's on point and don't work on eBay until your Posh is exactly where you want to be. Then we'll work on eBay because I don't want both platforms to fail. I want you to be where you're at, like
Yeah,
happy
I
with
know.
your Poshmark.
Well, and this is when I started moving over to eBay. So towards the end of the year, there
Mhm.
was like 5, 6 months in a row, no matter, I would spend more time, I would list more, I would do like all of the things you're supposed to do on Poshmark, and I just could not get more sales. And so that's where I kind of felt like I was tapped out on Poshmark, if you know what I mean. And so even like listing more, and even now, I'm listing 50 items a month on Poshmark, and I'm still kind of around the same monetary that I usually do, no matter more activity or not. I'm
Okay.
kind of there.
So you're at 90 out of 600. That was last month, roughly.
Yeah.
I consider that fantastic. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Is that good for you or no?
Yeah. No, I think so.
Okay.
And you have to also consider like 2 of the 100 are things that were just listed to in May. So for all of those to sell, right? Because I really ramped up my listing for all of that to sell too. So my sell through rate is probably a little bit higher because that skews it, because I don't normally list 200. Do you know what I mean?
So, okay. So you did 60/40, a little bit more Poshmark, a little more posh than eBay, you're saying, right?
Hmm.
So eBay, let's see, you got 100 and can you remind me how many sales? Like 160?
Yeah, let me look.
160 something.
169. Yeah.
Okay. So that's between 5 and 6. So that's like another 50 something sales on eBay. Let's just say I'm sorry, it's more than that. 70 sales on eBay, 90 on Poshmark. You only have 600 items for sale, is that right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Then that's like a what is that? 160 divided by 600 is 25% sell-through rate, 26%. That's 5 times higher than the average.
So
I
I'm,
mean, you're crushing it compared to the average seller. So, but
yes. Okay.
so what
Well,
that
so
would
that's
mean,
good.
is you're probably priced too low on eBay because your sell-through rate is very high, considering that you have a 15% sell-through rate on Poshmark. And on eBay, in my opinion, it should be either um, that okay. What that means is you probably have really good items because that's very high. That would be that's higher than mine for sure.
Yeah. Well, so I think some of it, I mean, maybe is the good items, but some of it is this month on eBay. Like I took everything. I have best offer, and if it was on offer that made me cringe, there was quite a few items that like I didn't make a profit on. I didn't like it's not where profit wise that I want to be on eBay. Total quantity, yes, but the profit that I would like to keep that sell through rate, but then also make money, if that
Hmm.
makes sense, right? Like
It
on
doesn't. It
Poshmark,
doesn't. It doesn't make sense because you shouldn't have that many sales and have a high like your expectation for your sell-through rate is too high for clothing in a time right now where clothing is not selling. Why would you, if the market right now is flooded and no one is buying clothing, why would you have a really high sell-through rate and a really high ASP? That would make no sense right now because
okay,
everyone that's selling clothing right now is saying that it's slow. And for me, on my store, the clothing is a little bit lower than it's about 20% lower than last month. It doesn't make sense that your store would, unless you have something that's really on trend, your results equal your effort from my observation. It doesn't seem like it's lower than, it actually seems better than I thought. I wouldn't expect you to have 160 sales with only 600 items for sale. That's very, very good.
well, thank
That's
you.
over 25%. I'm just saying I want to
Yeah,
match your expectations. I mean, unless you are I want the only way to get faster than that. I mean, if you had all your items for $15 free shipping, I don't think you would sell over 300 items. Still, even if your items were $10 free shipping, you still wouldn't sell 100% of your items each month.
yeah,
There's
right.
just
So,
not enough traffic.
but then how do you get like you either sell more items or you sell higher? Well, someone has a question really quick. I don't want to forget. What is the average sell through rate on Posh and eBay, would you
That's a good
say?
question. It depends on what the item is. For clothing, the average is 5%. So you're 5 times higher than the average. And if you did 5% on each platform, which is also excellent if you're cross-listing, that's 10%. That would only be 60 sales. You probably have 60 sales with good profit
Yeah. Oh,
of
yeah.
the 160.
My
So,
Poshmark sales in general, I'm fine with. Like
yeah.
that is fine. I'm just trying to get,
So
I
I
mean,
would
I
say
see what you're
but
saying, but like, how do I make more? Like, how do I get to this
you'd have a bigger
amount?
store. It's really obvious. You would not lower your price and accept every single offer because that makes no sense. If your goal is high profit per item, you would not lower your price. You can't have velocity and high price. There's one or the other. If you're happy right now building up your velocity, then you need a larger store to. But if
I
you
get
listed
that.
200 items last month and you sold 160, your store would have grown by 40 items.
Yeah.
So that pace is great. You just need to basically do the same thing next month, but not give away everything, and you will have a similar.
And see if, well, so I basically gave everything away in May because I was trying to keep that high price item and I wasn't selling anything. eBay wasn't giving me exposure. So
So
now
the,
they are, and I'm trying to back off of giving items away, but I don't feel like I should take everything off, right?
For 600 items, if I had your store, I would expect 75 sales on eBay. And you had about 75 sales on eBay.
Yeah.
So that's about right on the sell-through rate. Maybe my account's a little bit older, so um, maybe I could have expected 75 sales and a little bit better margin, slightly, maybe. But it depends on the item, because there were items that I killed it on, items that I didn't kill it on. Depends on what it is. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I basically had to give items away to get to that sell-through rate though, like, because I wasn't doing that before.
yeah, that makes
Like the
sense.
right, and so I don't want to continue to give items away. I'm fine if my sell-through rate decreases a little bit if I'm like not giving
Okay, so
things
let's talk
away.
about this. What sell-through rate do you want on eBay? Because you seem happy with Poshmark, and Poshmark is around 15%.
I think if I can, yeah, I think if I can get eBay to match Poshmark, and so having because my average sale price on eBay is lower. And so even though the sell through rate is about the same, the uh, average sale price is lower. So if I can find ways to not have to completely discount my items to get them to sell,
Would you be
and then
okay
it's
with
like
that?
on
Would
par.
you be okay with a 10% eBay sell-through rate if your margin was on point?
Yeah, I would prefer to sell higher
Then
priced items.
why? But I tried your method for a month just to see, right?
Yeah.
And I don't need that sell-through. That $800, I would rather have kept that.
Yes, right. But before, like a month ago, I was selling without doing all of this. eBay wasn't giving me any exposure, so I was
Yeah,
selling 14 items a month,
yeah,
and
that's
that's not.
interesting. That is actually interesting. Should you pay? Because 40, I had like $47,000 in sales for, let me see, with maybe 120,000 listed. So I had a 40% sell-through rate on eBay using your strategy. It was ridiculous, right? I almost
Yeah,
sold half my
yeah.
inventory with that crazy promoted amount. So it makes sense. So now it makes me wonder, do you want a really, really fast sell-through rate? Because if you're 15% on both, that's 30%. That's unbelievably fast for clothing.
Yeah, purses and
Clothing
shoes
doesn't
too,
sell
but
like that.
yeah, yeah,
So that would be, you're not quite there yet, but is that a price you want to pay for that kind of pace? The problem with it is that you have to relist it. I have
yes,
items that are
right.
replenishable that sure. I mean, if 100 sell, like your dashboard as an example, 100 selling is not more work than 50 selling,
Yes, right. Once it's
right?
already up there
Right.
and done.
So, and
Yes.
it's the same with, I have sandals that I can reorder. Those are the same. I could sell 100 pair versus 1,000 pair, and it's just not more work for me, right? So
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah, I mean, I think in having this conversation, I was leaning towards lowering the promoted listings because I was getting a lot more traffic in order to kind of get that uptick in the sale price and not have to give the items away.
Mhm.
I'm fine. I mean, my end goal is how much money I'm making. I don't particularly care how it is. I
No,
would
no, no.
like it
Here's
to
the thing.
be with,
You do care. You care
I
how
do, yes.
long. You care how long. I actually don't care how long. You do care how long. So if you didn't care how long, you wouldn't do any discounts. Craigslist Hunter is a good example of a YouTuber that doesn't care how long. There's no promotions, no store, no tricks, nothing. No sale, nothing. Just listing it at the price that he wants, and he will wait until he dies to get that price. There's no games. That's
Yeah, but
actually if you're that kind of mentality.
how long has he been? I think you can have that when you have more foot in the game, right? Like you've been
No,
on there longer.
it doesn't matter how long. It just will take a little bit longer.
Yes, right. But if I'm starting now and I'm like, cool, I don't want to make money for a year, I can sit for a year. But if I've done it for 3 years and something that I did a year ago is now selling now, and so now every month I'm making a profit from something I listed a year ago,
Right.
right? Like I do want to make profit every month. And so I think slowly it'll be to
But
where things can sit longer.
that's the opposite of don't care how long it sells. That's saying you wanna make profit every month, like you wanna make it right away. Then if you wanna make it right
Well,
away,
if the
then
item
you would be,
sits, it
but I'm
doesn't have
saying
to be from what I listed. But yes, I would
it's
like to make money doing this.
it's totally okay. I'm just saying if you didn't care, you wouldn't be cross listing on eBay. The purpose of cross listing on eBay is to make the churn of your items faster, because
That's true.
you're currently happy with the amount you're getting on Poshmark. Right? It sounds like you are satisfied with the profit margin on Posh.
Yes, but I think that I've maxed out what I can get on Poshmark. I don't think I've tried all kinds of things and I just can't get more sales there, which is why I moved over to eBay. Because if
But
I can
then,
get
but
what I get
then
on Poshmark and what I get on eBay, then boom, I'm doubled.
the thing is, if I think if I were you, there's a couple ways I would approach it. I would either grow my Poshmark closet because I'm already a really good Posh seller. And if I have 15% sell-through rate, in my opinion, that's great. There's no returns. Poshmark is easier than eBay. It's not as complicated, right? You could just dominate. I was just looking at Renzi now. They just crossed 300,000 in just received money on Poshmark. I'd say maybe
Yeah,
it's a third or a half profit or something over the course of a couple of years.
yeah,
And looking at that, I'm thinking, they don't list on eBay at all. And it makes sense to me because why incur the expense of the time? If they're happy with the sell-through rate, let's go. Okay, I guess my point is, what sell-through rate on eBay do you want that it's worth your time? If you want 15%, you may have to give some of your items away. Because here's the
yeah.
thing, you're not giving eBay the full chance to sell it because some of those items are selling on Posh. eBay should be extra, is how I look at it. It can't, if it's part of your strategy, it's hard to,
I see what
because
you mean.
they're
Their
cross listed.
competition. Yeah, their
Yeah,
competition,
it's
which is something that
cannibalism.
something that I've run into as well. And I hadn't thought about having one be a main platform. Because yeah, I'll have stuff on eBay getting ready to draft and list, and then it sells on Posh. And I was like, well, I paid a lister to list that, and now I
That's what I
don't
mean.
even get to list it. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
coming out of my profit, right?
So I'm sure that you could have had at
Yeah,
least 100, and you would have had over 100 sales on Posh on eBay without discounting your items and without all these crazy games that we're playing if you didn't have your Poshmark closet at all. Because it would just, it would good items sell no matter what platform you put them on.
yeah.
Patagonia, there's no point in cross listing it. It'll
It's
sell
gonna
on
sell.
any platform. So it's something to consider. It's just like when you're selling crap, it's really good to cross list because it's hard to sell. If you have really
Well,
good items, you don't have to.
I'm taking that as a very good compliment, Chris, that I don't
Yeah.
have crap.
No, but I'm saying
Yeah,
in your sell-through rate indicates that you in my opinion, what I would do is I would lower. I would not sell on eBay unless it's the profit margin I want. Just don't do it.
and just let
Don't
it sit.
don't take
Yeah,
the sales velocity to get that, because in my opinion, I would say 10%. If you had 60 sales on eBay, I would have considered that a win, considering you had so many sales on Poshmark with the same items. It's just like a plus.
yeah,
It depends on, it also depends on what kind of items. Jenny's Girls it's like certain items sell for bank on Poshmark. Certain items don't sell at all on Poshmark. It's the same thing on eBay. You have to know your platform and your situation, your sell-through rate. So for me, my sell-through rate goal on eBay is 15%, and on Posh it's only 5%.
yeah.
Your sell-through rate on Poshmark is triple what mine is, and on eBay it's similar to mine. And so from from where I'm sitting, I would say your store just needs to be a little bit bigger. You're trying to
Yeah,
squeeze too much juice out of the effort.
well, and I think as you're saying that I think that has been part of my strategy, because it is one of the hardest things, and I'm getting better now that I'm trying to have inventory come to me. I never like thought to do that. But the hardest thing for me was trying to source. I have 3 kids. I don't take them to the thrift store. Like it was hard to get that many items to get a big closet. So I had to, yeah, squeeze as much as I could get out of the small inventory that I had. And apparently I've gotten good at that. But growing the store will just naturally make those items sell a little bit longer, right? To where I have more volume just out of pure numbers game.
So as I'll give you an example. I was like, let's say you had a Starbucks and it has 500 customers a day. You wouldn't discount the Starbucks coffee to sell 600 cups of coffee because that doesn't make sense. You would just open another Starbucks.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, yes, to a certain extent once you're established, but I do think that you have to get it set. Like if you're a Starbucks, you're a Starbucks. But if you're Joe Schmoes down the street and nobody knows who you are, you do kind of like it's the price. Like I took it when I was doing this for eBay, I took that as like a marketing expense for my business kind of thing. Like I was marketing my business to get exposure on eBay, not necessarily to make that profit. Where going forward, hopefully eBay kind of sees me as like something, right? And they're like, okay, Sarah's a seller, will give her exposure.
I think that they're giving you plenty of
Yeah.
exposure.
Well, and
So
that's what I think too when I looked at my regular through promotions. Okay, good conversation. I know we are at that 7 o'clock time zone.
let's
This is kind of giving me
I
a,
want to finish the other questions that you have.
oh yeah, I didn't, let me see what I wrote down.
So you have you'd like to change one thing on eBay to help with your net profit. I would say um of the things that you suggested, I would say lower your promotions to 1%,
mhm,
and then don't complain when your sales slow down because they're supposed to slow down. You're trading that
yes, yeah,
for that. And you can't be greedy and expect the same sell-through rate as Poshmark when you've already mastered Poshmark and you haven't mastered eBay yet. And
yes.
what eBay is looking for is actually they don't want you to change. They want you to do the same thing every single day.
Yeah, yes, I've learned that. It's worked this past month. And that's where I was headed is lowering my promotions to see what it does. And if I'm my sale price is going up, then I'm fine not selling as quickly. I prefer that. That's my preferred model. Less shipping as well. I prefer to sell higher price items. Um,
I'm considering one more thought for you.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I am considering if I don't have more than one of the item, only selling on eBay. Not paying because you have in this email, you have extra costs of a VA,
yeah.
extra costs in storage space. What you can do is with your model in your life, what I would suggest is I almost would suggest Poshmark only. Almost. I would almost suggest that, except for I'm not comfortable with Poshmark because they don't have enough traffic. Personally, I would
No,
prefer.
and they don't have. I don't. I'm starting to like eBay better. Any Poshmark doesn't have the analytics. I don't.
They don't, but I'm saying if I was you with limited time, right? Like as an example, I talk to Hustle at Home mom all the time.
Yeah,
She's like, Chris, I feel like I'm a imposter because I don't do enough volume on eBay for people to listen to me. And I'm like, look, if you do 5,000 a month on eBay versus $10,000 a month on eBay, it doesn't no one doesn't believe you because of that $5,000 in revenue. It doesn't matter. For your life, she's going to make more money making YouTube videos or coming up with digital content. That's a better scalable model for her. So I'm like, for you, it doesn't make sense to grow. I would say for you personally, from me knowing you, I would say it does not make sense to expect a high return on eBay. I would say 5% would be killing it because you have so many other things going on that can actually scale. The thing is, if you had um, 40 of the same blouse, okay, now
yeah.
it makes sense. Rank it, get that velocity going, then raise your price. The thing is, you have you have one of that blouse. So don't give it away and don't worry about the velocity. The reason that you have Poshmark for velocity. So I think we should aim for 20% sell through total, 15% on Poshmark, 5% on eBay. And if you're going to pay this extra cost for the VA and even like for me on Mercari, it is so easy for me to decline offers because if I'm going to sell it on Mercari, I might as well get full pop because otherwise, why am I
You
could have
know
just
it'll sell
discounted it
somewhere else.
on one platform. Then you also have the cost of ending it on the other platform. You know what I
Well,
mean? It takes
Poshmark
time.
doesn't. Oh, time. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got to go there and do it. But yeah, I would suggest right now, your main concern, what I hear from you is I want to improve my net.
Yes.
Because, okay, let's just say you did sell. I would consider for you 60 sales out of 600 on eBay, killing it at the profit you want. But let's say you sold 75 at not the profit you want, or even at the profit you want, that's that's only $150 more. That's not getting us. That's not. That's a tiny thing. What I want to do is have your store either be bigger, or let's just be. Let's see. Let me think here. What I would say is I would like your store to be at. Let me do the math here. We want to do $4,000. Let's say 4,300 a month divided by 15 profit. Times 5. Okay. This is gonna sound crazy, but it's not. 1,433 items in your store.
Yeah.
20% total sell-through. 15% on Poshmark, 5% on eBay, which you're already doing better than that.
So it's just building up the items.
It's just essentially doubling your store, a little more than that, 600 to 1,433. Then, okay, here's the thing. That's only, let me see here and confirm.
So I feel like, I mean, you're saying I've kind of maxed.
This is perfect. It's 10 a
Yeah.
day.
Okay. 7
And
days a week.
10 a day is not going to destroy your life, and it's going to allow you to do the digital content. So what I would do is just get in the habit of listing 10 items a day that meet your goal, right? And then don't worry about how long it takes, and make up the difference in your digital content. I'd be like, you know what? Like for me, the reason why I don't care how long it takes is I really don't care. I have other income streams. I can wait 10 years for my item to sell. It's still
Yeah.
better than the stock market.
Well, which
So
is interesting because I have kind of shifted in our conversation yesterday into trying to get my YouTube up and running a bit more. The hard part with that is I cannot YouTube with children. I don't have them on. So like there is a limitation. I can do quite a bit of reselling things. I can take pictures, and if my kids need me, fine. But trying to, like, I don't allow them in my digital content. And that's where the limitation has been. Trying to up my digital or like my YouTube and social media is hard because I can't do that with children.
So
Do you know what I mean?
will you highlight Ryukura's question on how long should it take to get to 1,400-ish items in store?
Oh, yes.
Because I have a great answer for that. You ready?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
140 hours of 10 items an hour.
Yeah.
That's how long it takes. So if you think about that, if you were full-time, it would take you a month. You're not full-time. So let's say you're 10 hours a week, right? Then you can think, okay, that's great. 140 hours is 14 weeks to get there. This is a really good. I'm glad that the question was asked, because you can get an idea. Okay, it'll take this much time. Also,
if I can find, that's the other issue, is finding that inventory.
that's one part of the pie. Yeah, there's one part is listing, the other part is the pie. So this is the thing. You put in X amount of work to get good at Poshmark. I would definitely. I actually consider you in the top 20% of eBay sellers as well. But you put in a certain amount of work to get to the X amount level in Poshmark, and you understand how it works. You know what sharing does. You know how to make a listing pop. You know descriptions. You know item specifics, right? You do not. You actually, to be honest, you do know that for eBay. There's not much left to learn other than time. Like the only thing that, in my opinion, from your eBay store that can improve it is just product mix. You're not making any mistakes in the listing part that would make it sell faster.
And time. I mean, eBay likes people who have been on there for longer.
That's out of your control.
Yes. Right.
But now you need to do the same thing with YouTube and with your digital content. You need to figure out, okay, so let me give you an example of what I'm doing to help you understand. I know that every time I make a video, I'm going to sell 3 courses. Okay?
Yes.
So I can be like, okay, to make X amount of money, I need to make this many videos because it'll sell 3 courses. I also know that every video I make, 1 new person will join my mastermind group. Right? So now I understand the analytics. Now here's the part on YouTube that I need to figure out. I need to gain new subscribers that are not resellers. Okay, so I'm looking at how can I make content for, let's say, stay-at-home parents? How can I make content for people who don't like their 9 to 5? I need to learn because here's the thing. I know how to get more reseller subscribers. I know how to do that, but I don't want resellers as subscribers. I want
You're branching out,
the different type of client. So it's not it's not fast. When I'm trying to focus on new reseller people, I can get 100 subscribers a day by doing certain things.
Like your video you did today where the atomic bomb.
Right, the
It's like
atomic
the
bomb is
world's
the
ending, and I was like, oh
exactly,
God, Chris, that's a
and it's
great
funny
like
because now my regular audience knows when I do that, it's gonna be a good video.
yeah,
Okay, people who don't know me will finally click on it and look at it. The thing is,
yes,
um, now my audience knows that every video that's negative is going to be really good because I know those are going to rank high. And
yes,
it
very
gives me, okay, here's the thing.
controversial. Yeah.
It gives me an opportunity to get a new customer. It's my loss leader. Okay. So, okay, this is the best advice I can give you for YouTube.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Your video is a skew,
Is it
just like
skew?
just like
Oh,
a
yes.
Poshmark listing. It's a listing.
Yes.
So you're going to be good at it because you're already good at eBay in not very long. You already figured out. I can't even really give you any advice on making your listing better because it's also
Yeah.
not rocket science and you've already know how to do one platform. I would guess it would take you 2 weeks to figure out Mercari, right? It's not that much more difficult because you already have the nuts and bolts. So right now it's like for
Learning
you
eBay.
now, you have the skills, you've built the foundation. You're not giving yourself enough credit for the initial work you did on Poshmark that helps you learn. Like I think the first 4 months on Poshmark I did 100 grand because it was easier than eBay.
Hmm.
I hopped on
And
it
you
and I'm
already
like,
knew
wow,
eBay. Yeah.
this is so much easier because it's basically just sharing, and the community part does help. And when I
Mhm.
was learning it, I was super into it. So people that I met were buying stuff from me. There's that whole community thing. But like it translates over. And I'm just telling
Yes.
you, it's
Yeah.
exactly the same for YouTube.
Yes.
And
Well, and
you
I
yeah,
haven't put as much time into YouTube. And I'm glad that you said this and you brought this up because that's kind of where I have been headed with this. I really, after our conversation last week talking about YouTube and doing all of that, figuring out how much I want to make and everything, um, it's not in reselling. Like reselling is a good supplemental income and to help get me there, but being able to possibly do classes or more digital content or YouTube, that's going to provide the higher
you want to
hourly rate.
but
And that's where I have actually been headed towards trying to figure out how to do more content on YouTube and better content that'll get me there.
I have a really one more really good tip that you need to write down. So
Yeah.
YouTube is kind of like reselling if you are chasing topics. I'm not chasing topics. I'm actually creating more of a replenishable type store where it's a similar kind of content almost every single
Hmm.
time, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to either be a trend chaser, which would be the equivalent of hunting Birkin bags all day. Because
Yeah.
if I was in women's fashion, I would definitely do that. I would try to always have a Birkin bag because it's like catnip. It is awesome. It's
Yes.
so
Yeah.
powerful. And I actually did that when I first started. I had Louboutins that I went to the store. I had Louis Vuitton. I had Gucci straight from the store.
To get
And
into
a
your closet.
couple of times I got lucky and someone paid like 1.5 times retail. And I had no intention of selling those items. I just wanted my closet to look like that.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, this is it's just okay. My point is a retail YouTube video or your dashboard. That's something that you can sell over and over again. That's
Hmm.
scalable. So you will, and you already know that in the back of your head that reselling is just sort of a thing. But the thing is, YouTube is mostly men that watch. Instagram is mostly women. Okay, so if you look at those demographics, I mean, this is just I would guess that I think you get both because you would get guys watching you, and you would also get moms, also get the female audience. You have a larger pool to pick from. I would be
Yeah.
surprised if your YouTube doesn't work. The only thing that would prevent your YouTube from working is not doing it long enough.
Yeah. Which is Clearly I have trouble in patience, and my husband will
Yeah,
attest to that.
you definitely have a patience problem.
I'm like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. What's her name? I want it, and I want it now. I mean, it's great that you're saying this, because that's kind of where I was headed, and putting more. I
Th
feel like my YouTube is kind of just all over the place, putting
this is
more
why I love the
into
question
it.
of how long does it take to get to 1,400 items? I know. It's 140 hours. The thing is, I don't really know for YouTube.
Yeah.
If you were to say, how long is it going to take me to get to X? The thing is, the longer you do it, the more you can extrapolate. So, for example, if I wanted 100,000 resellers on my channel, I'm at 53,000 subs. It would be very easy. All I would have to do is just thrift with me every day. My channel would explode because people love looking at what I buy. But I don't, since that's not who I'm looking for, I need to be like, okay, you don't like your job, watch this channel and I'll give you the tools to quit your job. You know, in my mastermind group, there's probably 40 people who had their best month ever last month. These are
Mhm.
people who've decided they have way less stuff going on than you, but they have decided they want reselling as their career. That's a different look than what you're doing. You're doing it like sort of as a side gig. Actually, eventually, you can write this down too. If you had somebody shopping at the Denver ARC and the Goodwill bins and bringing you 100 items a week, and you had somebody listing the 100 items per week, and you had a VA cross listing it, and all you did was shipping, you could do 10 items of shipping in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you could have a
And then
thousand
do all
dollar
YouTube and dashboard, and
but
yeah.
you would have $1,000 income coming in each week,
Mhm.
and you wouldn't be tempted to do clickbait.
Yeah.
So my videos, I'm very happy to report that I have over 95% rating, which means it's not clickbait.
And see, that's what I need to, and I've been working on it slowly but surely, is learning YouTube, looking at all the data, but when you say you have a 95%.
You would look at socialblade.com
Oh, yes. Okay.
and it will tell you what your rating is for each video. And if it's below 90%, that means you would
Like how engaged they are.
yeah, lower than 90% means you clickbaited them.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, the last video that we did, I totally clickbaited people. That's why I'm at 93% on that video. Because the video wasn't about the end of the world for resellers. It wasn't. I just put
But
that because
yeah, and that's where I struggle, is getting the thumbnails to make it to where they want to click on it, but that it's not clickbait.
well,
Right? Because I
I
feel like
like
you have
I
to do these flashy thumbnails to get people to click, but then you also have to make it so that it's what they think it is.
I think that my audience knows I like cats, so that was like I got enough of my regular audience, so I still got 93%. But I mean, I don't clickbait that hard. Like one time, okay, I had a video that got like 10,000 views in an hour when I put, "We need to talk about Nicole State." That was the title, right?
Yeah.
Com
Okay.
complete clickbait because I didn't even mention her in the video. Nothing, not
Oh,
one
geez.
thing about her. So people were like, this is garbage because you
It's
didn't
not
even mention
even.
her."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
knew this is what people want to watch. What is the deal with her? And I'm like, I don't have a deal with her. She's cool. You know?
I just want to.
So
Well, and so, I mean, on all of this is kind of where I've been heading, and I'm glad that it came up. And just, I have to do things to get data to figure out what is working for me. I've kind of just been like trying this and trying that and not figuring out, taking it
why
as
does your husband not
seriously.
think you're patient?
Because I mean, you've known me for how long, and you can tell I'm not patient. I want things now. A lot of the things that you tell me, he's like, Sarah, like, you're doing good.
Yeah, you're
How
doing great.
many? Yeah, I mean, because we talk about YouTube.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I think
you're
you're
at
doing great.
2,000 subscribers in a year. Like, that's ridiculous. And I was like, oh, but like Chris has 50,000. Like, I want
Well,
50,000.
it takes a while.
Yes, right.
So don't panic. You're doing a great job. And I wonder if your love language is have you read that book?
I've read like the cliff notes of it.
Do you know what your love languages are?
I don't know like the official topics, or what they call them, but one is um like when people do things for me.
Oh, acts
Like
of
for
service.
my Yes. So for my husband, when he like will fix something that I could do it, but I'm like I would rather you fix it than me
Mm,
have to worry about it. That's probably my biggest one.
okay.
Why? What would you have said?
I mean, I think that's good too, but I think that words of affirmation is big for everyone.
Oh,
So
yes, that's one too.
I think you need a little bit more of a confidence boost, but I mean, but you already kick ass, but for some reason you need a little bit more of a, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'll talk to
well,
my counselor tomorrow about why that is because it's absolutely true.
because here's
And
the
it's
thing.
hard on it's hard on social media though. Is you it's constant like you're driven to compare yourself to others. And it's
Okay,
hard to get out of that realm. Like you've been doing it for 3 years. You don't have children. You don't like there's a reason that you have more subscribers than I do.
but I'm also not in a hurry. So I think that my wife gave me the advice of, can you just do YouTube for a year? Because I was gonna start, and I'm like, should I really do this? Do I want to be that guy? And she's like,
Yeah.
just do it for fun. Do it for a year for fun, because the only thing that matters is if you do it for a year, you're intelligent, you'll figure it out. And I actually was, because for me, I'm a little bit of me is, I would say like I'm 12% troll. I like to push people's buttons sometimes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I test that sometimes for fun, and it gets me in trouble, but it's just like, YouTube is for fun for me. But I get it. It's kind of like I like experimenting with what would get you views,
Yeah.
you know,
And I
rather
think
than
I
just
need to I mean you brought up a good point like reselling. I mean I still need to do it and keep up at it, but I've kind of I understand it and now put some more time and energy into learning YouTube and getting that and just letting
but
reselling be what it is.
and you will, all you need to do to have a big YouTube channel is just keep doing it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you're doing that would make you more exciting other than maybe asking your subscribers what they want to watch.
Yeah.
And I definitely could do a better job of that myself, because people want me to do more haul videos, but just don't really do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, this went over as usual. Good
Last
conversation though.
question, or I'm going to answer
Yeah.
Rayu Kira's question
Yeah.
on where do
Yeah.
you see the percentage on Social Blade? You want to click on user videos, and it will give you an idea of which videos are, like, for me, you can tell when the videos have below 95%. That means I reached a little too far on the title and the thumbnail. And that
Yeah.
you'll get the same exact thing on eBay if you put boho in the title, and it's really not.
Yes. Which I hadn't thought to compare it. Like that's essentially what you're doing. It's just
So
trying to get people to click and watch.
the best advice I got for YouTube was each video is a SKU. That totally changed my mind. I was like, holy shit, it's just the listing. I finally get it now. That's how it works. And the people who buy it are the people who watch.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now I know.
And then, and to that point too, the more you have, like it's a quantity game too, like the more videos that you have, the more content that you're putting out, um, which is something that I struggle with because it's time.
Mhm.
But if I kind of scale back on the reselling and not put so much effort into that and just kind of let that be what
Or
it is.
cap it. You need to cap it.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Not try and do. Okay. Well, this is some you can say his name right. It's my husband. I still can't say his name right, but mostly 95 to 100 for me. He just looked it up. So that's
Awesome.
good. So it means that what I'm doing is right. I just need to keep doing it
Yeah, I mean,
and
you're
mess with
definitely,
it, try things out, but like it's doing okay.
which
Chris, thank
95 to
you.
100 means that you're not clickbaiting people.
Yes.
You probably should be in the 90 to 95 range, honestly. I mean, okay, this is a good way to do it. I'm not going to mention any names, but you can research the other people who are in this niche, and you'll
Yeah.
see
Which
they
I
have
do.
some videos that are really low, and that's because they're just gaining audience like crazy. And I could definitely do that, but it's really noisy.
Yeah, well, and to me too is I want people who watch my content. Like I want people who want to be here. Like I don't just want people that like see a clickbait video and want to subscribe. I want my audience to be also my subscribers to also be watching to watch my videos and getting something out of them.
Mhm.
And I have a hard time with clickbait. Like I don't want to lie to people. I have a really hard time coming up with thumbnails. I'm like, this video is about my dashboard. It's like, no, you have to like come up with something else besides that.
Yeah. Also, one last thought is you can over deliver too. then I really have to go. But over delivering
Yes,
on your
yeah.
video means like, here's one tip to help your sales, but really you give 5 tips. That'll like really smoke people. Also, the best
Mm,
stuff earlier in the video so they'll last longer. Don't leave your best tip for the end if they don't watch that long.
and get right to it.
Get
I
right
have
to it.
yeah, I have to work on the rambling in the beginning. But I struggle with like the beginning if someone's new, kind of doing like a little bit of like subscribe and hit a like and here's what the video is about to hey, I'm Sarah, let's get right to it. Like people who follow me already are like, cool, like let's get right to it. But do new people want to see that little, trailer in the beginning? Or they're like, here, I clicked here, let's get to it.
Not really. I mean, I
Yeah.
move my like and subscribe after my first point.
Oh, because
That
then they're
way,
already
because they
invested.
don't give a shit. They don't know you. They
Yeah.
want to know like, are you useful? Okay, now you're
Yeah.
useful. Okay, now I'll like you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's a good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I appreciate you staying on longer. Tell your wife thank you.
Yep.
Um, I know she. Um, Thank you so much. This was very helpful, very informative. Kind of helped me continue in the way that I was going, and thoughts that I had been thinking this week. So I really did get a lot out of this. I hope everybody watching this at home as well got a lot out of this. We're going to do 6:30 still, right? Is that
Mhm.
what we decided? Yeah. Okay, 6:30 every Wednesday, 6:30 Mountain Standard every Wednesday on my channel, talking with Chris from a Daily Refinement. So I hope everyone has a great week. I am on tomorrow with Christina from Kate and Bo Boutique talking about the economy and the impact on resellers. So definitely make sure to join me over there. And I hope everyone has a good night.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Sarah.